What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. Got a review for you. Let's jump into it. All right, guys, I have a budget offering here today that I'm really excited to review with you. It is a new version of an existing model from Remette. It is going to be the Budget B. Really cool model that you have here that we're taking a look at today. Instead of titanium handles, which they do offer in a frame lock version, they have G10 scales, steel liners underneath the scales. You still get your food pick here, titanium food pick included. Really fun option that they threw on here. It is a smaller size offering, thumb stud and flipper tab deployment, so you do have multiple means of deployment. They went for, I believe it's steel. Let me double check. Yeah, so you got a steel fold over deep carry pocket clip in place of the titanium pocket clip that comes on the premium. I'm assuming that's to help cut the cost. And then you have 14C 28N, and it is bead blasted. I did cut with this one a little bit and very comfortable. You are able to sort of get a trigger grip on this with that forward choil. I can't with the larger hands get a full 4-finger grip, but a trigger pull grip does allow for the remaining 3 fingers to get on there while cutting with it. Sliced just fine through the paper. I don't know what it has been through prior to me getting this example. And then very slicey, move through the cardboard nicely. And then of course with the trace cutting after that, it cut very well. So again, trigger pull grip, comfortable in hand, not really feeling the pocket clip poking into me any sort of way. And then with that forward choil, nice purchase for that index, and detail work is going to be very comfortable in this grip. So pinch grip, very good. Lock bar access, I did worry about this a little bit when I saw it. It looks a little tight if I'm honest with you, just looking down in there, but it's chamfered very nicely and it is just sharp enough to catch pretty good. So it's more like you're sliding across the lock bar and it's catching onto the rounded part of the thumb. You can almost kind of see where it pushes in just a little bit there. You can also slide over if you like to do the disengagement that way, and then lifting up works really well. Good detent tune on here. Flipper tab is way up over top of the pivot, so it's got a lot of leverage. It's got jimping on it and it just fires. Yeah, really well tuned. You got a really good thumb stud combo here going on. Nice stepping on the top, so it's very grippy. Again, very satisfying to deploy. Really good job here on this one, Remette. You got ceramic balls in the pivot. I believe Remette uses stamped bearings. Looking down in there, yeah, very shiny. So I think these are stamped cage ceramic bearings. So you get very nice action on here. Nice and centered. Just checking on it since it arrived. I checked it. So I've gotten to handle it a little bit. So I'd like to see that there. They did a really good job of matching the food pick here with the contouring that you have on that G10 for the inlay, and it is nice and contoured here as well. So while it is thick, not like super thick, but while it is a thicker knife, they did a good job keeping it skinny, and then the chamfering helps make it feel even more skinny as well. Jimping is done well, so if you are choked back, I am only able to get 3 fingers onto the knife choked back and then choked up. I wish it would have been just a couple more jumps here, would have been good for me with the larger hands, but you still get a little bit of jimping towards the back. Not bad at all. Good cutting geometry, man. I was just really impressed with how well this sliced, and it's locked up at about 30 or 40%. It isn't my knife. It is included in a pass around, so I can't do any sort of spine whacking and I can't disassemble this one. But I do have a couple of Remettes, and they do a good job with their T8 hardware, T6 hardware. Where applicable, it feels well tooled, and I've never really had any concerns about it stripping or anything like that, and they seem really well made, good tolerances and things of that nature. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons. We'll weigh the knife and then we'll give it a score and wrap up. All right, first we're going to start with my lightweights. We have the Para 3 on the bottom, which is bigger than the B, and then you have the Manix 2 lightweight on the top, which is a full-size representation for size comparison, and you can see obviously larger than the B. Let's do a couple more. All right, so I wanted to at least get one on the table that was very comparable, so I brought the Civivi X1 out here, and you can see it is very much in line and very comparable to the X1. So it is a small EDC, 3-finger grip, light duty. If you have small, medium hands, this is going to be great for you. And then we have the Wild Species on top, which is a full-size offering from Remette. Just again, another example, just in case you have more budget examples and you don't have the Spyderco's. Let's do the weight and then we'll wrap up. Okay, we got the scale out here. Let's cut her on and let's see what the budget B is weighing in at, guys. Coming in at a very respectable 3.6 ounces. Budget knife, steel liners with scales on top. You do also have the food pick there, thumb studs, flipper tab for multiple means of deployment. I feel like this is a very respectable weight. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Okay, let's wrap up, guys. If you don't know how I do on this channel, I score these out on a scale of 1 to 10. 1's the worst, 10 is the best. Budget knives cap at 7 simply because they're limited in materials. Doesn't have anything to do with the performance of those budget offerings, but it does limit how high they can score. Having said that, there's a lot of good things here. The G10's well done. Contouring, not a huge fan of the speed holes, but I can say at least these are smaller and out of the way. They actually did not hamper the ergos for me personally at all. While some may feel like the food pick is kind of gimmicky and very specific, I have found that it has more applications than that. If you have a knot that you're having a hard time digging out, you can dig into that with that. It'll also help with paracord knots, not just shoelaces. There's other things that I have found that these have come in handy, like tight to reach spaces. If you drop something that you can't get your finger in to get it out, it comes in handy for sure. So it's a nice extra that you get without sacrificing too much. Some may argue that it'd be better to have this be reversible, and I totally understand for that. That argument, I can't counteract it in any way, shape, or form. I don't know what they could do to make the reversibility work with that pocket food pick, but maybe someone out there a little bit more ingenuitive than me could figure that out. Thumb studs and a flipper tab. I love seeing dual means of deployment. That is another plus for me. Forward finger choil is a little small, can only get a trigger grip on there. Would have been cool if you could have gone up to the second knuckle, but as you can see, I go over top of the blade, so that kind of stinks for me. But for those with, again, small to medium hands, it's going to be perfect, maybe even up to large hands, but trigger pull does work. And for a smaller EDC, this is going to be kind of light duty. Love the utility blade shape on here. While I don't love bead blast finish, it is 14C28N, so you're not going to really worry too much about any bead blast done on here corroding. It's going to be highly corrosive resistant. Excellent thumb studs on here. Really well dialed detent. Just tuned really nicely. A very simple design with a little bit of wow to it, with a couple little things on it. For me, I'm going to go, trying to think of what I've scored here recently in the budget area and where they kind of landed. I think I'm going to go 5.8. 5.8's where I'm at. It definitely seems like it favors more small to medium hands. Again, speed holes aren't really my aesthetic. That is definitely personal preference. I could take or leave the food pick. I think it is cool that it has it. I think the argument that it could be reversible would be better for me personally. I'd like to see this be lefty friendly. I know it's not a lefty liner lock, but lefties can easily deploy this because of the fact that the scales go over top of the liner. So I think that would make it a little bit better for those that would like that option. But again, it is a small nitpick on there. All in all, though, great action, great build quality. I like the steel that's being offered on here. Would have loved to see 154 cm because I prefer it, not because I think it's necessarily better in all examples, but it does hold an edge better. It is plenty tough and it is corrosive resistant for sure, so I don't worry about it rusting. I like the B though. It is definitely cool that they decided to make a budget offering of this. They did the same thing with the Wild Species, which is one of my favorites from them. Very comfortable for me. I enjoy using this one a ton. So this one in there, 14C28N, seems to be done well. So this is my personal knife. I get to hold on to it longer and test out their 14C a little bit longer, and it's comparable. It looks like the same thing that you see from Civivi. I think Kubi has a slight edge on their 14C28N. I think that its edge holds up a little bit better. It doesn't seem to show as much fatigue when you push it through hard use, dense materials, stuff like that. But you can get either one of these in a titanium N390 version. The Wild Species is really, really cool. A little tight, you know, if I'm totally honest, a little tight up here. I just barely have room. You see what I'm saying right there? But I like it. And again, they're built really well. Let me know if you have any questions that I didn't answer in the review. And if you picked one up, definitely let me know. If you're interested in it, I am an affiliate with Remette, and it does help when you use the links, but that is totally up to you guys, no pressure. If you enjoyed the video, a like would help on your way out. If you're not subscribed, definitely consider subscribing. I'd love to have you follow along with the rest of the subscribers to this channel. A special thank you to channel members. You guys are awesome. I'm out of here. I love you all. I hope you have a fantastic week. Catch you next time. Peace.